And welcome back to Story Circle Toys. It's part 2 of our journey to the big show. That was our trip down to the Taupo Collectibles event. So let's get to it. Let's have a look at some tables from the show. So this table had some great Star Wars stuff there. I had a look at those puzzles, and I remember saying the words to B that I wasn't going to have a look at those Star Wars puzzles because they were too modern. Man, something I didn't come back to. But I did spy this. It's a Viewmaster. I was pretty excited to see this. I've been getting into Viewmaster. I've got a whole bunch of Viewmaster stuff at home to work on. Just as a little bit of a side, as I go through and discuss this with the vendor here, I was able to get this for a little bit off the sticker price for $40. You might see in the background there is a Debbie, the Elegant Doll box there. Man, I wish I'd picked that up. Debbie was another New Zealand toy. If only I'd realized at the time, I would have picked that up. So this is possibly, I think this was my second purchase at the event. Now I haven't actually really gone into detail on Viewmasters on the channel yet. I've got like a big lot of Viewmaster stuff to unpack, and I really want to do a bit of a deep dive. Well, deep dive for this channel on Viewmasters. So this is a Sawyer's Viewmaster. So it's a Model G. This is really interesting. This particular one, well, first of all, it's in box. The box is really not in bad condition. I mean, it's rough for something that was made, a little bit rough for something that was made so long ago. So this was produced in Belgium for Sawyer's. That was an American company. And the seller actually told me that they picked this up in a flea market, not a toy show, but a flea market in Brussels about 2 years ago. So let's actually pull the Viewmaster out. Now, a lot of you people might recognize the Viewmasters, like the red molded version, which I think is a Model F. No, I'm not quite sure actually off the top of my head. I've got to check my research notes. But this Model G is a awful color, brown color, but it's got some beautiful classic lines on it. So this was about $40, $45 on the packet. $40 is what we got it for. So really glad to have a Viewmaster of this type with its box as well, and coming so far recently to get to New Zealand all the way from Europe. So yeah, very cool pickup. Hopefully this will my future videos will spark a little bit of appreciation for Viewmasters. But yeah, very cool pickup. Happy to have it. Now, here we go. We're back to some more toys. This is actually the stand of Iron Age Comics. Iron Age Comics is very, very cool. They were kind of like a little studio. You popped up to their little studio in Mount Eden. They do comics, toys, a little bit of everything. They have actually now relocated to like a new warehouse, which is in 1 Virginia Avenue, Eden Terrace in Auckland. So I highly recommend jumping by them. They have graded comics, they have toys, they have so much stuff. David, who is one of the people that runs Iron Age Comics, just knows his stuff incredibly well. I've traded, sold, bought stuff from him before. They often do $1 comic sales. But yeah, here's their stand. Just having a look at a few of the toys there. Some Thunderbirds, you'll see in a second. Yeah, which would have been kind of cool. Didn't pick up on that. Here's one of the comic sellers. So yeah, as well as back issues, there were some great graphic novels. And of course, B here has found, as well as dropping the sign there, found this very cool Loki crocodile figure. And I might get to see that series one day, maybe. Now there was, it wasn't as pronounced as some events, but there still was some retro gaming there. I kind of looked at this Knights of the Old Republic 2, fond memories of the very first Knights of the Republic game. And I do like to pick up Star Wars games where I can. Yeah, this particular had a good line, and they had that cool Poe Dameron helmet there. So Legacy Games, I'll drop their details into the notes of this channel. Now here's another stand. The stand was actually run by an old friend, Keith, who was actually my wedding photographer. And he had a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff. All the stuff is expanded universe stuff, so it's no longer canon. And man, I really meant to go back to pick up the Tales of a Bounty Hunter paperback there. among other stuff. But you know what? Once again, I didn't go back. Hopefully I'll see Keith at another event. Now here's some of the other sellers. Now I didn't get much from them, but it's good to have a look around. There's so much variety, and maybe if I'd taken a closer look at some of these stands, I would have picked up some stuff. Kind of funny because I just jumped into the seller and a buyer there kind of discussing eBay comps on some cards he wanted to get, and the guy was like, nope, can't go that low, and the guy's like, well, comps are here. So it's kind of funny. I've never really checked eBay. I know people do that on the apps to check for comps. So I've done it once on a Star Wars figure, but I appreciate that selling on a market like that and selling at a convention like this are two different things. So yeah. So more stands. Here's Retro Nerds. I don't really know this store that well, but I've seen them at a bunch of events, a bunch of Armageddons, and they had some pretty interesting stuff there. Again, through this convention, through the Taupo Collectibles show, there's so much stuff to look for. I mean, there's some cool little toys there that I wish I'd picked up something. They're just very kitschy and retro. But there's just not enough time. To be honest, I got a little burnt out on just filming stuff. And look, one of the other things here is there's so many people that I did get footage from that I just couldn't include in the video. One, I don't have the audio yet to do stuff. To get interviews with all the retailers. There's a Gru set that I wish I kind of get. Wish I'd kind of got. But yeah, we got a little burned out on doing some of this footage, and after a while I was like, well, let's just look at stuff. But again, I wish I'd dived a little bit deeper. I mean, probably partly, getting up early in the morning. For these conventions, if you can start off fresh, it makes such a big difference. We had a big long drive early in the morning. So yeah, I wish we could go back in time, maybe stay in Taupo overnight before, so we could be really relaxed getting to this. But I'll improve filming. We'll learn a lot of lessons from this one. Here's some Foot Roll Flats. Again, I wish I'd gotten these because I had some of the older Foot Roll Flat books, which are really hard to get. The first volumes are easier because they were produced in much more massive numbers. Now, something that I'm beginning to see at these conventions is more people bringing VHS. There was nothing here that I saw that I was interested in, but there's a few titles that maybe if I see sellers future, but mainly it would be kind of 70s and 80s horror, samurai films I'd be interested in. Retro Nerds had some cool stuff, and including, I think I go down and have a look at it, this cool Bubba Hotep figure. Man, wish I'd got that as well. Again, plenty of Star Wars available here, and some Lego. And the second, I kind of wish I liked Lego enough. The Mos Eisley Cantina set, wow, that was amazing. $1,300 though. I'm sure it's worth that much, but yeah, that's a pretty big purchase. That would be a once in a convention purchase. I believe these guys are called Hobby Heroes. I might be wrong. They had some real good action figures. There's some He-Man stuff, which I'm not interested in, but they had a really good selection of Star Wars. Kind of at this point in convention, I didn't want to make too big a purchase. They had some great vintage collection cards. Should have got that Ahsoka, should have got that Andor. That was a really beautiful one. Should have got that Rogue One shirt. Should have got the Princess Leia. How could I turn Carrie Fisher down? But did I go back to the stand? I did not. We headed out to kind of like the outside. There was a main hall area, and this is kind of, I suppose, like part of the foyer. There's the Toy Dope, so there was a number of good sellers out here, including back of it there was also the Pokemon Clan, which are great sellers for singles. Toy Dope, usually I see him at a bunch of the conventions, and he had some good stuff here. Nothing that I immediately picked my fancy. I'm not into Star Wars Micro Machines yet. I don't know. But some other cool stuff. Jurassic Park. I know people love Jurassic Park, and that Batman animated Arkham Villains was a very cool set. I'd like to get a Sam Neill figure, so maybe that's something I get as a little bit of a one-off in the future. But kind of just had a bit of a scan through his selections here. But very cool seller. I do remember at one of the Freeman's Bay events, he had this really big Godzilla figure that had sound on it. It was like an older figure, maybe 70s or 80s, and I didn't get it, and it went. I came back to get it, and it had gone. So one of my big toy collecting regrets. This stand had some cool stuff, lots of little action figure bits, lots of kind of like those Titan figures, those kind of larger, less decoed, the kind of like cheaper ones that you see at the warehouse. Pretty cool. I wish those had been around when I'd been a kid. Now, this particular seller, had a huge amount of MCU stuff with a little bit of Star Wars Black Series mingled in, but it's a little bit hard to see with the reflection, but all those are MCU figures. So many. And also had a really good collection of the SH Big Arts, I think they're called, which are really kind of like not as high level as like Hot Toys, but certainly like kind of at mid-level, like really detailed, multiple accessories and stuff like that. So he had a pretty good selection. A couple of Star Wars in there. There was a Vader. There's a Kylo Ren. That Michael Jordan would have been a cool present from my friend Richard. Maybe one day I'll get that for him. Now, forgive me. For some reason, during some of this, I turned my camera up the other way to video. Maybe just a natural reflex. This is the Symbiote. I believe they're called Symbiote Symbiote Collections. I think we'll see their sign in a second. What a cool pop store. They kind of had it set up there to have like, it was almost like a little walk-in store, and there were just pops everywhere, and they had a great selection. There was some really high-end signed stuff you might have seen, chasers for days, so it was an amazing setup. I did get a little bit deep back before COVID into pops, but then I kind of gave it up. I do still have some pops, a few wrestling pops, no Star Wars pops, which is funny. A few wrestling pops, a few movie pops, just things I really wanted. But yeah, so I highly recommend these guys. I did have a quick chat with the owner, but the audio was obviously not good, and for some reason, again, I had the camera in the wrong direction. But I spied this. You'll see it in a second. I'll go back to it. This Ewok Return of the Jedi 3-pack. Did I get it? Let's find out. Okay, now we have a couple of little purchases from different sellers. Now this one I'm super happy to have because of my absolute addiction to Return of the Jedi and Ewok. So this is a 40th anniversary pop. It's in great condition. Maybe a slight little damage I noticed on the front here, but it is Tebow, Chief Chirper, and Logray. So these are some very cool Ewoks, and yeah, I absolutely adore the Ewoks. So I picked this up from Symbiote Society, which is a they just seem to be pop sellers, but they have an amazing selection. I know kind of Funko and Pop gets a bad, well, people like to hassle those guys, but I don't know. Look, it's not for everybody. I like some Funko stuff, other stuff I don't like. But the guys at Symbiote Society had just like a massive collection and some really high-end stuff. So I probably should have spent some more time kind of rummaging around in their collection. But I think I picked this up for about $70, which seemed really good for me. Good to me. I think this is a few years old now. I think, sorry, I should have looked up when the 40th anniversary was. But yeah, and it's kind of cool. They've got their own casing with it. You can't see it there, but this is the case of this is actually marked Symbiote Society. So I'll try and find their details and put it in the notes below. But yeah, very happy to have always happy to have anything Ewok related in my collection. Now, another one, this is another little one-off. I was just browsing one of the seller tables, and I'm not sure why I picked it up. It was pretty cheap. It was only $5, and it just seemed like a cool crossover. I suppose is when I don't know when I slowly became a puzzle collector. So this is a board puzzle. So the actual all the puzzle pieces are in the board. These are like the Star Wars ones I have. Obviously not a New Zealand made one as far as I'm aware. But like it was $5. I had a $5 note, and it just really charmed me because you got obviously the Seven Dwarves and a boat at Disneyland, I suppose, or somewhere with elephants, and then there's Dumbo. So it's like Disney crossover. So yeah, I picked it up. I don't know when I became a puzzle addict, but apparently that's what's happened. Oh, sorry. See, there's a whole frame trade jigsaw puzzle. So this is a Holton product. Look, it actually must have been New Zealand made or maybe Australian made imported. It says available from all leading booksellers and stationers throughout New Zealand. I know Holson has been based in New Zealand for a long time, so there's a whole bunch of the other ones. So maybe I do need to find this Mickey and Donald one. There's Peter Pan. And of course, this one is Sword in the Stone plus Pinocchio plus I don't know enough. I don't know enough Disney to get it. But yeah, I don't know. Something very nostalgic and just the fact that it's two Disney properties crossing over that I've never thought would cross over. Yeah. I don't know when I became a puzzle addict, but apparently getting frame tray puzzles is my new addiction. And here we go. So I've talked about it. I was interested in turtles. This is Brad. He's the owner of Turtle Power. They have a Facebook group, and here's some of the turtles he had on display. So I was keen to get a bunch of these turtles, and I did. I was particularly interested in some of the side characters rather than the main turtles themselves. He has a huge collection, and they're all various, obviously, the ones with full accessories, more expensive, but he has a whole range. All right, so one of the other sellers, of course, was Turtle Power at the event. So I did carry through my promise and pick up some turtles. So the first one we've got here is we have Bebop. Now these turtle figures are fantastic, actually. Very toyetic, great size, very cartoonish. Obviously, coming from the animated show. I mean, the animated show was such a breath of fresh air when it came out in New Zealand. It premiered on TV3, and of course, that was when TV3 became a thing. In my childhood, we had two TV channels, and Turtles coming onto TV3 was pretty huge. It was a massive cartoon. The Bebop, really imposing little character. He's got a shell driller and a weapon. He also comes with a little garbage can shield. Unfortunately, you can't fit everything on. But this is a great figure. This is from the original release. So the first Turtle lines had like 10 carded figures, and Bebop was one of them. It was the four Turtles, Splinter, April O'Neil, Bebop, Rocksteady, Shredder, and the Foot Soldier. Now I'm going to have to get some stands from these guys. I'm still not quite comfortable with standing these guys up, and I'm sure. Come on. Sure, I had them standing before. Let's just lean them right up there so I don't. So I don't have any errors. All right. So that was great. All right, here we go. Second figure is Rocksteady. Again, as I mentioned, he's 1988. He comes with a rifle, a knife, and he comes with this city sewer lid grating, which is a shield as well. So he's got slightly smaller legs. He's got also this like little belt that comes on, which has little turtle shells. So very villainous, one of Shredder's henchmen from the original 10. Very cool. Now, the next one, of course, was another villain I got. I decided really to go for the villainous characters instead of the turtles proper. I don't know, just they're slightly cooler. I will get some. Well, I have got one turtle to show you, but I probably will try and get the original four sometime. This one is Baxter Stockman. He is a mutated fly. He's from the 1989 release. He's a very cool figure. Very toyetic. You got the fly feet. He's got a swatter, which actually has a little turtle already squashed on it. Look at those eyes, like the torn shirt, and the whole wing and arm assembly here actually just slides off the back. So you can just pull it off like that. Very cool. This is a figure I definitely want to get carded one day. I'm not sure if there are a lot of carded turtles in New Zealand, so maybe that's for a trip overseas. Let's put them up there. So I did get one turtle, and there was a specific reason I got this turtle. This is the Grand Slammin' Ralph. Let's get him into view. So I'm a huge fan of American baseball. So this one turtle immediately, he's not complete like the other ones. He is missing a glove, but our friends from Turtle Power says he's got that accessory coming, so I'll be able to complete it. He does have all this little stand here for hitting baseballs because he does actually have a mechanical action. I'm not sure the right word. You can twist him like that. Then very awkwardly you press this little button and he slides around. But it's kind of awkward because your finger kind of hits it as it comes around. So maybe there's a better way to do it. But there you go. So he has like a ball slamming action. Also, he's got pinstripes, so that's like New York Yankees to me. I have no idea how to stand this figure up. He seems very unstable. So if anyone knows how to get any stands for turtle figures, please let me know. I would definitely like to get some stands because he's going to fall down as soon as. Let's put this Grand Slam and Ralph over here. But yeah, I'll put a link into our friends for their face group for Turtle Power. Yeah, he's got a good selection. Hopefully, I'll pick up a few more turtles as we go along. And that's it. That's the Taupo Collectibles event. So a few notes, first of all. I suppose one of the things is I did do a few interviews or quick interviews with some of the sellers, and there was a variety of sellers that I just had to cut for the video just to get it to a reasonable length. So if you're one of the people that I talked to and your store isn't here, I apologize. I'm really hoping that the next time a big show like this comes along, I'll be able to get more people in there, get the footage really down and succinct. So yeah, it was a learning experience. I'm very glad I had a chance to do it at the Taupo show. One of the things you'll notice is we don't cover anything that B brought in. She was with me. She had a budget, not as big as mine. So I am going to do a cheeky little kind of part 3 bonus. And I'm going to get B to narrate it. So we're going to pull out the things that she purchased on the day and go through those. So hopefully watch out for that in the next couple of weeks once we get it underway. But the thing I'd like to do now is kind of go through and give a few like kind of pros and cons and my opinion of a show. So to be honest, I've got very few, well, basically only one thing to put in the cons. And that's very simply is it's a bit of a drive. We were lucky. We stayed in Hamilton tonight. We came from Auckland. Hour and a half trip or so down to Hamilton, stayed the night, and then the trip Hamilton to Taupo early in the morning. Probably a terrible weekend for a show, unfortunately, because of the weather hitting the country. So it made the drive a little bit slower than it should have been. But I mean, that's really the only con for the show. If obviously you're closer to Taupo, absolutely brilliant. I think next time we do the trip, definitely it's the stay in Taupo for the night and wake up bright and early, so get some breakfast, relax, go to the show. So that's definitely the only con for the show. Otherwise, yeah, it was really good. I think one of the things I'd like to say is that I think it's something from Futurama. If you've ever seen Futurama, there's an episode where Bender meets God or a space entity or something, but it kind of insinuates if you do your job right, then nobody notices you're doing your job at all. So big props to Sam, who's one of the organizers. I don't know the rest of the people that worked with him, but they were invisible. It was flawless. We waited in line, we did the tickets, we got entry on time, and just flowed around the venue. Nothing happened. There was nothing to complain about. Just everything was seamless. I suppose maybe hopefully next year they have more sellers, they take over more space at the collectible show. Everything was really spaced out. So I have to say, they had a home run with this event. I've already booked in my calendar, I booked in with a family to do it again next year. Maybe even we could look at becoming a seller if I can get some stuff to give it a sell, or just promote the channel down at the show. But yeah, great show. If you haven't been to one of their shows, definitely recommend heading up Taupo next year. We are looking into going down to their Taranaki show, which is in New Plymouth, working out the details of it now. So yeah, great show. Make sure you get to one of their shows in the future, or just support your local toy show. All right, that is Story Circle Toys out. Hope you enjoyed this. Coming back with a whole lot of videos over the next coming weeks. Thanks for your attention. Please give us a like, a comment, or a subscribe. That's Story Circle Toys out.